got a list of questions. So I don't want to dive into penciling a profit quite yet because I feel like we got some backstory we need to fill in there. Give me a little bit backstory of your guys' family. How long you've been how many generations are you on the farm?
Well, I would say I'm third
generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, my grandpa, I would say, started it, and he got going. My dad was always there with him, and my dad, he kind of had to do his own thing, and they had some cattle. My grandpa had cattle. Well, my dad really kind of carved his spot out with his feed yard and the cattle. He bought the feed yard from a neighbor, and that's kind of how he got going, because he wasn't going to just wait around for my grandpa. I mean, nothing was guaranteed that grandpa would leave him anything, so he just started doing that. That's kind of, and then now they were pretty early. I mean, I was going to farm, so it just.
I need to get your dad on the podcast sometime.
Yeah.
You know what I need to do? I need to have Mason interview your dad.
Yeah. There you go.
That's what I should do.
There you go.
That's what I should do. Mason just, he adores you and your dad. He looks up to your dad so much. And I mean, man, I've met him twice. And the one time was up in Oakley. The other time was out on your guys' farm. And man, it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing to see. I'll call him an older guy. I don't know how old he is, but an older guy that is open-minded and still progressive while being conservative at the same time.
Well, he's always been that way. I mean,
my dad has been too, to a large degree.
Yeah.
And so, but man, there aren't a lot of those guys out there.
Yeah.
Like your dad, I was like, what's your number, or what's your yield limiting factor? He's like, water and carbon.
Yeah.
Just spit it out. Water, sure, but the carbon was like, wait, carbon? What are you talking about? And he's like, he goes in and thoroughly explains it. And
well, he even knows that stuff. I mean, that's all he does in the wintertime is study that stuff, and I mean, he knows it more than me. I mean, by far.
Sure.
I mean, he's the
and kelp,
expert on that.
I mean, man, kelp is a fat. We just got back from South Dakota, and man, I saw plants influenced by kelp when it was lined up with the correct timing, the correct species of kelp. Like it blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. And that was nothing. You guys aren't. That's something you guys are implementing on your farm heavily.
Yeah, and we've actually probably used a little bit of it in some other products that we've used in the past, and those are kind of. We'll see how your liquid kelp does here in a bit, but seems like all of those products are kind of difficult to work with.
Dries are just a pain.
Yeah,
dries are usually cheaper.
Yeah,
but I mean, man, it's because it takes work.
But that's the thing, is it's worth it. I mean, I feel like some of these stuff, they're just so watered down, they don't do anything, or the effect is just not as much as it could be.
Right.
And you just gotta, if you really want something to work, you gotta put in a little effort, and get it there. So
back to the family history.
Yep.
So your dad, basically, I mean, cattle and irrigated farm ground.
Yep.
And then I want to hear a little bit more about when the wells started to run dry and how that changed your guys' operation, and just, I mean, the story of that in the West.
Well, I just kind of, I remember, so when I was a little kid, I just remember riding in the combine, cutting really tall, high-yielding corn.
Like, throw me a yield number.
Well, Dad always talks about when he was doing 270 corn, and he had one, like, I think this was 2009. He, like, had basically a section average, like, 287.
Oh, my gosh.
and
section,
and that's where he really, got a good foothold there. I mean that he really advanced the farm there, or just built up some cash. Felt good.
Sure.
Got that booming year, and so yeah, I just remember that, and it was just always amazing. You cut a little bit of dryland corn, and you pull into that first irrigated field, and it's like, whoa, the combine's louder. You're pulling so much more stalk through, and the grain is just pouring in. And back then, actually had 2 ants running. We had 2 smaller grain carts then, and we were just running an 8-row head. And it was just very different thinking about the changes of the farm has gone from that to now we've got 4 wells we're pumping. We used to have over 20. All had decent water at one point. So one of the wells that I'm managing, it's at 500 gallon per minute right now. Used to be a 1,200 plus gallon per minute well.
Wow.
So,
how long ago?
I really couldn't tell you. I can't remember when my grandpa bought that, because it used to be owned by another farmer, and it sold. It's the field name is the
original owner's name.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's so common.
Yeah.
That's so common in agriculture.
Yeah, we have a few of those.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we still have we have a couple of farms that someone bought, and then my dad bought or I bought, and we still call it by the first person. There's the Yeager farm.
Yep.
And man, Yeagers haven't owned that ground in 60 years.
Yep.
Probably.
Yep.
But it's had a couple owners since then, but that's the Yeager farm. Well, It's funny because in rural communities, if you say a new neighbor's farm, say Josh's farm, nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yep.
If you say the Yeager farm, all the old timers
that
drilled
the
wells, did all the work, dirt work, all that stuff, cut trees, whatever it might have been, or gone fishing.
Yep.
It's the Yeager farm.
Yep.
I don't know, and I think it's
we got a half section. We just call it the flood ground because it was flood irrigated. It hasn't been flood irrigated in years.
Yeah.
obviously.
I love it in the West. You guys don't count anything as acres. No one out there does. I asked you a question on acres earlier, and you're like, you really had to think about that.
Yeah.
But you guys go off circles, sections, pivots, quarters. Yeah, lots of quarters.
Really, I think we just sometimes just in 80,
Right.
But
yeah, small fields out there, legit small. Those are small fields.
Yep.
Anyway, and so you guys, I'll have to see if your dad would come on sometime to talk about, because his experience with the cattle, was.
Well, he's got more interesting stories than I do. I feel like so. I don't.
He's lived longer.
Yeah. Well, I know.
He's lived longer. You're gonna have a pile of them by the time we're old men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm trying to think, what else? Is there anything else we want to dive into before we get to? I'm trying to think. Talk about hail, a little bit of history, aquifer.
Yep.
Can you shed if you're fine with it, talking about the aquifer and some misconceptions people have, because you guys had wells that were pumping and now they're not.
Yeah.
And it's regionally specific, it seems like.
Yeah.
Can you talk about maybe what do the old timers talk about?
Well, I just know, my dad, he said back, I don't remember quite the year, but he's like, I remember growing up, a well got drilled over by Garden City. He said it was 4,000 gallon a minute.
4,000?
Yep. And he
never
said,
heard of a well that big.
He said that was the first well in the area. And he goes, once that hole got punched, she just went. Everybody started punching holes and pumping water.
How would you like to be a pivot salesman back then?
Oh, it was a huge business. I mean,
massive.
And it still is. Just
still is.
Servicing them. I mean, it is amazing how much infrastructure is dedicated to that, really. I mean, sure, there's less in my area, but you go south and west of me, it's insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think a lot of it in the late 70s and then into the 80s is when a lot of that irrigation went in. And there was like, you know, the farm that my dad bought to really, you know, get into farm ground and all of that. They were some late adopters of it. He really didn't want to drill a well and irrigate. I don't know exactly why. I just think he was like, you know, he could see the future almost a little bit, like this is precious resource and everybody's just full hogging it right now, you know, getting after it. And but yeah, I mean, you can't even drill a well now out there, basically.
Right. So a lot of it was dry land, goes to irrigated.
Yes.
And now irrigation's run out, and it's
cycling back into
dry land.
In some areas, I mean, so they've got like really low gallon wells, and it's almost, they manage it like dry land. If they can start off, so they, you know, my area, if you got decent water, you're growing a lot of corn, you're not rotating a whole lot. If you do grow wheat, you're double cropping it and getting that, you know, just more intensive cropping. Whereas you go north where the wells kind of drop off, if you start off with a full profile, you can keep up no problem in the summer and still raise really good corn or wheat, whatever. But if you do intensive crop, you're going to be short unless it's a good year. And it's kind of amazing to go from area to area and see that. And then you go south and west of me, and it's just like high popcorn, high fertility, just grow as big of a yield as you can get.
As much as you can pull.
Yeah.
But, I mean, man, those guys keep doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they are good at it.
And they're good at it.
I mean, straight up, they are great, you know, farmers at achieving those yields.
Yeah.
If they have the water. So.
Yeah. I mean, the world record bushels in an hour was cut southwest of you.
Yeah.
Was that Ormston's?
Yep.
You know, like you said, in the West, that's a normal day.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah. You know,
it's amazing. Like, you get down there, it's all, you really don't know who farms what. It looks exactly the same. It is just tall, massive corn. It's all green. It's all well watered.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
It's more of a thing to see a field that's not taken care of, because you're like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
You don't notice all the good fields because there's so many good fields.
It's all good. Yeah.
They do a great job.
Yep. Yeah. Honestly,
guys, if you've liked the information that you've seen so far, go ahead and check out the full-length podcast on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe there. It's also on all the major podcast platforms. We're constantly dropping info and more content on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Check it out for a lot more content.